Hello and welcome back to Scale Down Customs. In this build video, continuing the build of the Revell Ford Raptor, the snap tight kit. What are we on? I think we're on part 3 now. I'm gonna get the body masked off, ready for the black trim, and finish up the chassis and a couple other things, and hopefully we'll get this truck finished up in this video. So I'm gonna get this masked off and then we'll go spray some black paint. So as I was cleaning up my brushes and getting all the paint cleaned up and everything, I decided to try some dry brushing on the underside of the chassis. Since it's all just so molded in one piece, I wanted to give it a little bit more visual variety. So I decided to just do a little dry brushing on there, and I had already turned off my camera, and by the time I got done with everything, I realized that I hadn't filmed any of it. So I just wanted to show it to you guys a little bit. So I just did a little dry brushing, and then I added in a little bit of weathering chalks and stuff like that just to highlight it a little bit more, but I thought that turned out pretty good. So anyway, we'll keep moving along. So just finishing up some detail painting on the body, and we're about ready to start some final assembly. All right, let's start working on some glass. So I really like that they tinted these rear windows so it looks like a factory tint. That's kind of neat. And I understand why they couldn't do it on the sunroof, because the sunroof is attached to the windshield. So we are going to tint this sunroof to match the rear glass. And we're also going to put a border around the windshield as well. So it's nice and frosted. It's got a raised edge there a little bit, so we'll mask that off and make a template for that glass. But the ridges for the sunroof are actually on the top part of it, so I might do that by hand. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to get that masked off. I don't want to scratch my glass too much, so I'm just going to use a microfiber to put it on as a work surface. We're going to mask off and make a template for our windshield. There's a couple of different options we have at this point. I can use my X-Acto blade and scribe right on the glass, or you can go the safer route, peel it off, and then cut it on the hobby mat, and then put it back on the glass. So we'll try this way. All right, so that way is a little more challenging because I can't turn the part. I have to do it on the mat, but we'll get this peeled up. The downside of doing it right on the glass is you can leave scratch marks in the glass, which will actually show up pretty starkly sometimes. And of course, now the trick is to get it back in the glass nice and even. All right, so that was not nice and even. Let's try that again. Well, that was nice and evener, but still not where I want it. So one more time. Third time's the charmest, as they say. So sometimes you can get a little bit of overspray that kind of sprays under, and you can wipe it off, but I find sometimes if I just mask it up a little bit ahead of time, it just saves me a little more cleanup on the back end. All right, so for my tint, I'm just going to use a little Tamiya smoke, and I'm going to thin this down pretty thin, so maybe close to 1 part paint, 2 parts thinner, and see if we can't match this a little bit better. Oh. Actually, we're going to do this black, and then we're going to tint the sunroof with the smoke. So for the border, I'll use the semi-gloss black. All right, not too bad, pretty clean. All right, now we're ready to do the tint. All right, I think we are getting ready for final assembly. So I think that'll do it for this video. Be sure and stay tuned. Just kidding. We're going to push through and we're going to do some assembly and get this thing finished up. All right, there we go. She came together pretty nicely. I was kind of surprised at how nice this Snap-Tite kit turned out. I've been shying away from Snap-Tite kits because for some reason I had in my mind that their quality just wasn't as good as some of the other kits, but that is not the case. The quality is really good, the detail is excellent, so you can basically just get the kit and snap it together right out of the box and it will look pretty good. Or you can put as much detail and paint as you want into these kits. I got this kit because I wanted to build the Raptor for someone, and this was the only kit available at the time. But I will probably not be shying away from Snap-Tite kits in the future. I really like the way this turned out. Now, I will say that when you're adding paint, especially clear coat, like a 2K clear coat, it is really thick. And these Snap-Tite kits, the parts go together really stiff and you have to use a lot of pressure anyway, but once you add paint and clear coat and things like that, some of the holes I had to clear out a little bit with an X-Acto blade just to get the parts to fit. But other than that, I am really happy with this kit, the way it turned out. I think it looks really nice. All right, I'm gonna get this cleaned up and ready for the photo op. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.